Hi everyone, Lisa Gillespie with anatomyconversations.com. Today I wanted to share with you how I explain craniosacral therapy to a new client, or if somebody calls me on the phone wanting to know what it is. My standard simple explanation is that craniosacral therapy is a light touch, hands-on technique that helps to balance the environment around the brain and the spinal cord. I also am sure to let them know that it is different than traditional massage, or what we typically think of as massage, because some people will hear the words craniosacral and they'll say, oh, so you're going to be massaging my head. No. I think if we lead with that expectation that craniosacral is a head massage, they're going to be disappointed, because that's not what it's like. It's not involving rubbing and manipulating of soft tissue like we think of with a massage. So I let them know that craniosacral is different, and that we do more holds than actual manipulating or moving of the soft tissue. So we're holding different areas to help enhance the flow of fluids and to help enhance the mobility of the soft tissue and the bones in that area, so that everything is able, the fluids are able to flow better, the nervous system is able to communicate more easily and efficiently with itself, and we're getting an optimal environment for the structures of the body, particularly the brain and the spinal cord. I also let them know that because the body is all interconnected and one area can affect another area, that I may be working on structures not directly connected to the head or the spine or the tailbone. So I want to prep them for that so they have an idea of what to expect. One of the analogies I also like to use, or the pictures I like to draw to illustrate and help give them something more tangible to identify with, is I'll use a descriptor of a water balloon. So I'll say, your brain and your spinal cord are within a water balloon, and the water balloon is structurally your membrane. So you have a membrane sac similar to a water balloon that surrounds your brain and your spinal cord. And within that sac, there is fluid, also known as cerebrospinal fluid. And the fluid surrounds and supports your brain and your spinal cord. It helps protect it from injury. If you bump your head, the water acts as a cushion to protect it from getting hurt. And it also helps to transmit nutrients and carry away waste products. Keep it simple, and let them, once you give a really simple explanation, because you don't want to overload them with information, ask them, do you have more questions? Would you like to know more about it? Some people, that's plenty, that's enough for them. Other people are really curious and they want to know more. So let them take the lead, and that way you're sure you don't overload them. You don't get the eyes glazing over and them going, I have no idea what you just said. You want to be sure they can identify with what you said. Sometimes I'll give them a little more information and explain that the bones of the head, the skull, are actually individual bones, that there are several bones, and that where the bones meet, they're able to accommodate the inflow and outflow of fluid from the head, so that you're getting a widening and a narrowing at the head in response to production and absorption of the fluid. Again, keep it in really simple terms so that you're not using lingo that you may take for granted, but your client has absolutely no clue what you're talking about. So if you'll notice in that example, I did not use the word sutures. I said where the bones meet. Now you can also say, that's also known as sutures, but err on the side of keeping it simple so that they really are able to grasp and understand what you're saying. Another analogy that I will use is I will ask them if they've ever had an experience of wearing a hat that was too tight. And did they get a headache from that, or some kind of discomfort? Most people can identify with that example and be like, oh yes, I got a headache, or I wore a hard hat one time when I was on a job, and I know that I get headaches when I do that. You can then explain to them that that hat that was too tight or a headband or anything else that they may have had on their head was inhibiting the natural movement of the skull bones. And when that movement is inhibited, it can cause discomfort and pain. So again, you're giving them something they can attach to, they can anchor to, they can better understand. It's an example from their real life that they can identify with. Curious to know how you explain craniosacral to your clients, what phrases, what examples seem to work best for you. Let's share ideas with each other. Feel free in the comments to expand on that, or hop on over to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Lisa Gillespie LMT, and I'll put that in the information below this video in case that's too much to remember. Thanks so much for being here, and look forward to seeing you again. Lisa Gillespie, anatomyconversations.com.